Hi Ryan.
Hello.
I was looking over your form from last week, your intake form,
Yep.
and the things that you have checked off. Do you mind if I take a few notes today?
Sure, that's fine.
Okay. I just want to make sure that we're on the same page and working on goals together here. So you had stated on here that there's maybe a little bit of sadness going on, and it looks like this is surrounding your surgeries and maybe having withdrawal from people, um, some sleep interruptions, all of that.
Yeah, I've had a recent surgery and I just haven't been getting much sleep, so been out of work for a couple of years. I mean, through all the surgeries and all the different doctors and different things I've gone through, and so that's been, I guess, really weighing on me since it's kind of my role as a husband and a father, and so it's been over the past couple of years. It's really weighed on me. I mean, I've tried to stay as positive as I can, and I've done pretty well, but lately it's just seemed to, over time, been bugging me more and more. So.
And disappointed and.
Yeah, it's just taken longer than I wanted to take, and I was not really wanting to get this last surgery, but I kind of had to finish the process. So.
And saying that your self-esteem has been lower and kind of isolating.
Well, my abilities to do much of anything is very limited with this last surgery. It's kind of limiting to what I can do, and I can't really do much of anything really. My mobility is really limited, and I can't really get out and do the things I enjoy, and kind of sticks me in the house a lot and sticks me really closer to, I usually like to be in the outdoors or doing different sport things or be out in the woods or.
That's what I was going to ask you is what do you like to do? So you like to be outside.
Yeah, and so I haven't really been able to do that for a while, especially the past couple months, and it's been really frustrating, and all that attributes to, kind of just getting kind of down.
Right.
I'm ready,
Make you feel kind of stuck, like you said, in the house.
Yep.
So everything's kind of coming from that area that you've checked off. So it seems like you're usually a pretty active person.
Typically,
usually
yeah.
Pretty positive. What do you have for supports right now?
Typically right now it's mainly my immediate family, wife and children. And I do my parents in the area. We do get together usually only once a month, and I talk to them once every once or twice every few weeks or so. And I do have family in Mass that I talk to periodically once a month or something. But and I do have church church members and pastors I talk to sometimes as well. But.
It said you wrote for your family, you have a brother.
Yeah.
And your parents are married.
Yeah.
Their relationships are kind of fair or good.
Yeah, me and my brother don't get a chance to talk. I mean, he's very busy. He's younger, and so he's just got his own lifestyle, and so we really don't. Every few months we touch base, and that's pretty much it. And.
Okay, so you mentioned church. Do you have like guy friends there that you can be transparent with?
Somewhat. I mean, most of the attendees at the church are older. The pastor has been, who I was close to for a while and talked to quite a bit. He's been quite busy trying to deal with things with his own family. A lot of things are personally going on for him, so he's been quite busy. And so that whole issue, and we had a few younger members of the church that actually left the church for varying reasons, so that kind of impeded on those different relationships and put some strain there on that. which I've tried to counsel with some of them, but that's a whole other issue. Um, so that has been kind of limited lately with the relationships at church, just because of people are either being busy or it's just it's it's kind of the large variation at this point, a large variation in age, between me being 37 and somebody being in their 70s or,
It's understandable.
it's not I mean, not that I still talk to them often, but at church and stuff, but we don't end up spending a whole lot of personal time together per se.
Okay, so what would you say are ways that maybe you can incorporate the feeling of being outside or doing active things with limited physical mobility? I'm just trying to think of, in our community, what there is to do. Like I know that there's a pool where the speech therapy is. Do you know about that?
I've been to physical therapy there, yes, for when I was, prescribed, but other than prescribed, that's all I knew about.
What about just, being in the water?
Well,
Is that something that would perk your interest at all?
possible, yeah.
Not really though.
Well, yeah, it's possible. I didn't know you could without a prescription to be there for physical therapy. So.
Yeah, I think if you wanted to check into it, or if you wanted me to, I think it's only a few dollars. And they have a heated pool or a cool pool, so you could kind of get I know it's chlorine, it's not fresh water like outside, but I don't know if that's not something you're interested in, but
Maybe it's something to do.
But it sounds like you really, you're feeling cooped up in the house. So if we could find ways to get you out and make some goals maybe that way, would that be okay?
Yeah, definitely. That would be a good start, yeah.
And you said your main supports at this moment are your parents and your wife? Is that true?
Yeah, I mean, my pastor's there. Definitely, he's there as much as he can be. We do try to talk, once a week, if not, once every few weeks, depending on his schedule. His father's been going through a lot and stuff like that, and so he's been very busy the past couple of weeks. So.
You wrote your relationship with your wife is fair or strained at this time. Are you guys spending time together, like still dating each other?
Well, it's somewhat strained again because of, she works part-time. We have 4 children who, need constant attention, and we both are full-time.
You got a house full.
More than full-time students, 15, 16 college credits, so, pretty much takes up all our time between all those things. So our personal dating time, if you will, is very, very limited, and by the time that we actually do get to speak to each other, we're typically so exhausted that we don't
What
get
about,
very much time together.
what would you
we
think
don't have
about like a lunch date?
Yeah, we've talked about it, and we've had a few dates like that.
I was asking you because it would, 1, get you out of the house, and for 2, maybe it would be building that relationship with your wife again. So you would know what you're interested in and what you're physically capable of doing. I can't feel the pain that you're in.
Right.
I can only imagine. So I don't know if you have any ideas. It sounds like your pastor is pretty busy, so if your wife is your other main support, maybe it would be a good idea to work on that relationship a bit.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
so, any ideas for a date that you could have?
Well, I mean, she does like being outdoors just like I do. So, you know, oil it off to eat things. Once the snow should be clearing up soon now to make it easier to get around. You know, out to eat things, whether it be pizza places or different things, should be fair to do now. You know, once the snow clears up, it'll make it a little easier to get around outside too. But no, or for now, if we could find time to go for rides or different things like that, then I guess that would have to work. It's a little hard to go hiking in a couple feet of snow right now, with the way my situation is. But
Do you mind if I ask you a question about your finances?
they're difficult, but we manage enough. You know, we're not perfect, but
How
Yeah.
much do you think you could afford to put aside for a date with your wife? Like even if it's just every other week or once a week,
I don't know.
could you commit to an amount? Do you think? You don't know. Would you want to talk it over with your wife first?
Well, probably just to see what our general bills are. I mean, you know, $20 a week or something like that, or more. Maybe I don't know. I don't really know.
Okay, so if you don't know, could we make a goal for our next meeting to figure out a budget to maybe take your wife out on a date and spend some time with her and maybe work on that relationship, and maybe that will help you to have a better support there so that you can feel better about yourself.
Right.
And what are you doing for time management so that you're able to get to bed on time?
I usually fall asleep when I can, between either just being completely exhausted or being done with schoolwork, or when I'm finally not in pain enough that I can fall asleep. Or then I'm up every couple hours being in pain, so that doesn't help much either. So
Okay, so maybe that's not an option to work on then. 'Cause you
not
probably
for a little while.
Yeah, okay, that's understandable because you're probably in a lot of pain throughout the night anyhow. Still, huh?
Yes.
Okay. So I guess for now, would it be fair to say that our goal then would be work on what you can do to make your marriage better? Maybe establish a budget for dates and talk with your wife about how frequently you could do that. And then maybe you could seek out somebody at your church that you can. I know that you said they're quite a bit older, but
Yeah.
maybe ponder upon that.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think there's going to be more openings in my pastor's schedule. I think they're going to be putting his father in a more permanent residence, and not so much living with him and his wife. The way things have been going, it's just becoming too much. So that if we have some of his time, we might be able to get together more like we used to. So that'll
I
be
think you
good.
missed that, don't you?
Yeah, it was good.
Sounds like you guys were close.
Yeah.
So maybe, how about a goal of before next week that you give him a call and just touch base with him?
Yeah, that would
Is that
be
fair enough?
good.
Okay. Well, we can schedule an appointment for next week. I just wanted to see where you wanted to go with all this, goal-wise. But we can definitely talk through it some more next week, and we'll check in and see how